Hi everyone, so I finally received my Natasha Denona Soft and Dramatic palettes. So we're going to take a little pause on the back-to-back foundation reviews and we'll focus on this today, but I thought it'd be fun to do a full face of Natasha Denona. We can give that Hy-Glam foundation another whirl and then we'll get to the palettes. I hope that sounds good to you. Let's just have some fun today. I don't even know how I'm going to show you both of these palettes. They're midi plus size. There are 18 shades in each. I'll figure it out as I go. First, let's get the Hy-Glam foundation on the face, and I use the shade N7. And this is a BK Beauty 101 brush, and let's just dive right into it, shall we? If you'd rather check out just the palettes, I'll leave a time on the screen where that will begin, and you can jump forward to that part of the video. So I have been loving this foundation a lot. It's not too hydrating, it's not drying, it's extremely long lasting, very natural looking. I'm not shocked, but I have been seeing comments about this being a greasy mess on their face, even those with dry skin. And I don't know, that's not been my experience at all. I just find it very, very natural looking, not too glowy, not greasy, not anything like that. I love it. I do have a full review and wear test of this foundation on my channel, and I also did a side-by-side with the new Makeup by Mario, so you can see the differences between those two very newly released foundations. And I'll leave them linked in the description box if you want to check those out and you haven't already. I think the key to this foundation is to not put too much on. You really don't need a lot. It's very stretchy in that way. A little bit goes a really long way. So I have a really nice medium coverage, and it does take a little bit longer to kind of settle down because it does self-set. So you got to give it a few minutes, but once it sets down, that's it. You don't have to powder. You don't have to do anything else. And it lasts so many hours. It doesn't change. It doesn't move. It doesn't settle. It doesn't do any of those things. I love this foundation. Okay, let's do some concealer now. This is the Natasha Hy-Glam Concealer in the shade N7. Same shade as the foundation. Again, with this one, a little bit goes a very long way. This is a BK Beauty 114 brush. I love this concealer brush. It's incredible. So I do love this concealer. It's not my favorite concealer. My favorite concealer is the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but because we're doing a full face of Natasha, we're using this one today. I have had instances where I maybe put more than I needed, and I've had it look maybe a little bit heavier than I would like, but nonetheless, a great concealer, and it's so many people's Holy Grail concealer. I need a new word for Holy Grail. I don't like saying it. I don't know, it's getting on my nerves. Am I getting old? But this does spread very nicely. Typically, I'll use a color corrector with this concealer, the Natasha color corrector. I really do like that color corrector as well. But today I thought we'd go in without any color corrector and see if we can just build a nice thin layer of this across the eyes. I haven't shown you this on camera yet, but I have been playing around with it. When I picked up the foundation, I did order the Natasha Denona Liquid Bronzer in the shade Foxy. It's so good. So it does come in a pump, and I just place a little bit on the back of my hand. You do not need a lot of this either. Theme. The theme here is a little bit goes a long way with Natasha. Take a little bit of it and then spread it out on a 109 BK Beauty, and then just start placing it over here. This is also very long lasting, very natural looking, and very, very easy to apply. It just sinks into the skin and bronzes you up. And I have found, because it dries down, I don't even have to go in and reinforce it with any powder bronzer if I don't want to. I have, but I don't find it necessary. I think this is just perfect on its own. Look how pretty, and I love the shade Foxy. It's pretty neutral on me, but gives a warmth, a beautiful warmth that you would want from a bronzer, but it's not too warm, and it's not too dark. Really, really good. Really good. Gonna get just whatever's left over on my brush just on my nose. Nothing crazy. Just like to balance out the warmth on the outer part of my face with my nose. I just find it works better for my face. All right, let's move on to a blush, and I'm going to use the Hy Blush Duo in the shade Simply Shy. And I'm going to go into this shade right here. This one I use more for highlight. Just pressing in here a little bit with an It Cosmetics number 7 brush. Now these are pretty pigmented as well, so after I get it on my brush, I still tap off on my hand just so I don't overdo it. I can always go in and add more. So just gonna add a little bit here. Such a pretty, pretty shade. I love it. Build that up a little bit. Of course, all of these work very well together. Getting a little on my nose too. And on this more highlighty side, which feels much drier than this shade right here, I just take my pinky and tap it over top just to give a little bit of a glow. And you get a nice, beautiful, subtle highlight. You can build this up and it can get a little bit more intense, but I prefer a subtle glow. Or you could skip this all together if you wanted, but I do enjoy it. Sometimes I'll even go back in with my brush that I applied the darker or the deeper shade and just kind of go over them and kind of blend them further. Gonna add a little bit of the highlight just on the bridge of my nose, just a little bit. Let's get some lips on. This is the I Need a Nude lip liner in the shade Natasha. Very creamy, glides right on, and I've had this for a while, I have to say, but still performing great. I do have this lip gloss, but it doesn't look great, does it? I don't think I'm going to chance it. I'm not going to chance it and put this gloss on, but I did want to show you the shade because I think you can still get it. It's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. I did enjoy thoroughly this lip gloss, but I don't think I'm going to put it on my lips today. But I do have one of her lipsticks also in the shade Natasha. This one's still good. It doesn't scare me like the lip gloss. It just has separated in there and it looks a little bit discolored. So yeah, although I would have loved to have shown that to you on the lips. Very creamy, very nice, really nice lipstick. Love this shade too because there's a hint of pink to it, but it's quite neutral. I love it. Goes with everything. I don't have any powder from Natasha, so I am going to use the Laura Mercier Secret Under Eye Brightening powder, and I'm only going to get my lids and under my eyes, maybe down here next to my nose. This is in the shade Peach. I did have the Natasha, the pressed powder foundation. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. I did give it to my daughter though, and she loved it. Like it's done. She finished it. She panned it. I know. Just setting down the concealer that we had on the eyelids and just a little bit underneath just to make sure that concealer doesn't go anywhere, and down the nose. Okay, let's get into the palettes now. I bought the soft one and the dramatic one because I was curious about both and wanted to show you both. I do love the format of them. I love the shape of them. I think they look gorgeous. I love the white exterior. Everything about it is very, very sleek. Just to show you in comparison, the size of it. So I have one of Natasha's midi palettes right behind here. So it's pretty much the same length, except it's shorter this way. You do get 18 shades in here, whereas in her midi palettes, you get 15 shades. So 3 extra shades. Which one's this one? Oh, I want to show you the soft palette. Here it is, 18 beautiful shades. They look very, very pretty. And I'm going to grab the dramatic one and show you. I lost one. It was there 5 minutes ago. I promise you. I promise you. Oh my God. Okay, I have to figure out how I'm going to pick this up. 1 second. Okay, it broke completely, but I am going to try and get it back in its little spot here. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to try and press it in. Okay. All right, well, that was a surprise. When I opened these earlier, it was right in there, and I don't know, I didn't drop it, I didn't do anything. When I opened this back up, it just must have fallen right out. Well, that's not cool. It's a really nice shade too. All right, so how am I going to show these to you? All right, I have a mess in front of me, but we will move on. So these are laid out in columns by undertone. This is the rosy column, peach, neutral, cool, etc., etc., etc. So it's laid out really, really nicely. And I want to show you, you do get a card within the package that kind of shows you what everything is, which is really handy. And on the back, it gives you placement ideas and suggestions, and also which shades are best for each placement. I like that. Okay, I'm going to quickly swatch for you, and I'm going to go by column, and I'm going to start with the soft palette. These first three are the rosy pink column, and we've got R1, R2, R3, and these three are the peach warm column, P1, P2, and P3. I don't know if these are going to show up on my eyelids very well, but they're nice, soft, light colors. The formula feels very creamy as I'm swatching. Moving on to the next two columns, this is the yellow golden Y1, Y2, Y3. I love this shade. And then these three are the neutral cool column, C1, C2, C3. I find this one to be extremely cool and looking a little bit gray on me, as cooler tones tend to look like on me. But look at NC1. That is more sparkle than I thought I would get from a swatch. Very, very pretty. All right, now we're getting deeper. This is the Warm Row W1, W2, W3. This one swatched so nicely. I think there's a new formula in here, and I have to look at which one's which. But I'll get into that in a bit. Then we have the neutral column, and it's obviously the deepest because as you go along, it gets deeper and deeper. This is N1, N2, and N3. In the soft palette, you get three metallics. This one, and this one right here. And all the other shades are either silky mattes, which I believe is a new formula for Natasha, although I thought she had a silky matte. I don't know, I can't keep it all together. And the rest are creamy mattes. But the one that felt so, so good, I checked, and it is a silky matte formula. It is so incredibly smooth, and it has a little sheen to it. Gorgeous. I'm going to start with P1 in the crease. I want to see how this lighter side of the soft palette looks, and I'll do one eye with this palette. Then we'll go into the deeper palette, or the dramatic palette as it's called. So let's get a look on this side with soft, and we'll see what we get. Refer 15, and oh, this is showing up on me. I wasn't sure if it would, but it looks really nice, and as per usual, blends like a dream. It shows up on me, but it's very soft and very, very natural looking. So if I wanted something like that, I could definitely reach for that column, P column, because this is P1. It looks so nice. This could be like a one and done, 100%. All of these could probably be one and dones, but we'll put a look together. All right, for the lid, I think I'm going to go into Y2. I have to show you something now. I have not touched the shade other than the initial swatch, and now this one is crumbling on the side, and nothing has actually happened to it. So what is going on with this? Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? So yeah, it was me. I noticed when I was playing back some footage that I dug my finger into that shade. Unfortunately, it was me. For 02, and I'm using the shade Y2 all over the mobile lid. And I think this is a creamy matte. This one is not applying as smoothly, but I think that's my fault because I cleaned off this brush, and I think it may have been a little bit wet. So I'm not going to put it on the shadow. That's totally my fault. I'm not seeing a big difference between the transition shade, the crease shade, and this one, although this one is deeper. So it kind of like blends out nicely and it works nicely together, but it's not that big of a contrast, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, just something to point out. I'm going to grab another brush. I'm going to grab the 01 from Rephr and go back into that shade. Yes, I think that was totally my boo-boo. This is going on much more easily, much more smoothly. I don't even know why I did that in the first place. I could have just grabbed this. Let's deepen the outer corner a little bit. I'm going to flip the brush over, use the same 01 Rephr, and I'm going to go into W1. This is the one that when I swatched it felt so gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. I love the undertone of this. And it looks really, really nice. Blending nicely as well. As far on the deep end of the palette I'm not getting a ton of differentiation between the shades, which could be a great thing if that's what you want, or not. If it's not what you want, I'm going to grab a smaller brush and I'm going to go into the deepest column and see if I can deepen out just a little bit more just right here. Rephr 26, and I'm going to go into the row, the 3 row that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to go into this shade right here, W3, and I'm going to tuck it into this outer part of my eye. There, that's better. Okay, so this soft palette will be much better suited for someone with a more fair complexion than me. I have a light medium skin tone, and I definitely, if I want depth and dimension and all of that, need the 3rd row to get any differentiation really on my lid between these shades. But I do like having the softer option in this palette. So it doesn't mean, I'm not necessarily excluded from this palette, but it's good to know what you're getting for sure. I mean, the deeper palette might be just too dark for me, and I might be unable to achieve any other look than a very deep look and smoky look. We'll see. We shall see. But this is quite the exercise. All right, well, that looks nice. That looks good. I mean, this is a basic palette, right? And so I wasn't expecting anything out of this world. I just wanted to make sure that the formulas performed well, and I didn't think that they wouldn't, but I just wanted to see. I was really curious to see the difference between the dramatic and the soft. But I do want to get C1 on my lid. See if we can get some sparkle on this. Because you could leave this matte, of course, but I want to see what this does. Now, this is in the cool column, and we have something very warm going on over here, So let's see. Okay, that does give you a beautiful sparkle. This one might have been better on the inner corner if you wanted to brighten it up, but I wanted to see what it looks like on the lid. And it looks pretty. It's brightened everything up. Really nice. But it has cooled everything off, definitely. So we have a mix of warm, and this is cooler for sure. I'm going to go back into Y2 and try and get a little bit of definition. I don't like anything too harsh on my lower lash. Bring that up a little bit. And I'm going to go into the shade right here, N2. And I'm just going to line just a little bit, a soft line. And that's going on really nicely and giving me that definition that I want. Oh, I'm getting fallout. Nothing tragic, but it's there. And I think I'm going to flick it out just a little. Just extend my eye just a little bit right there. All right, well, I'm going to add some mascara. This is the Hourglass Unlocked in brown. And although this is a very good mascara, I think it flakes on me. I'm going to give it one last shot and see if that same thing happens. But I do love the shade of brown, and I do love this mascara as well. It gives me some really great length, and it gives me some volume. This is the soft palette look on this eye. I think it looks pretty, like it does. And nothing we haven't seen before and nothing out of this world, but I didn't expect that from this palette. I was mostly curious about how the soft palette would work on me. So it does look pretty, but it doesn't claim to be anything else other than structural and basic. But you can get a pretty nice look out of it just using that. or you can use it as a companion and then add any fancy schmancy sparkles. But that one that I added, it looks pretty, but it really cooled down the look, and I don't see anything else in the metallics that is on the warm side unless you get to the very, very dark row. Again, I'm not disappointed in it. I just want to show you what you can get. All right, let's move on to the dramatic palette. And again, I'm going to swatch column by column. Starting with the first two columns, this is warm, warm 1, warm 2, warm 3, and this is the yellow golden column, Y1, Y2, and Y3. I really like these. This is columns 3 and 4. So this is the rosy pink column, R1, R2, R3. Very pretty. And then moving over to the peach warm column, this is P1, P2, and P3. The final two columns, we have the neutral column N1, N2, N3. This one leans a little bit cooler. And final column, the cool column, cool neutral, she's calling it, C1, C2, and C3. I do want to point out that in the dramatic palette, the whole second row here is metallics. So you get 6 metallics in here, whereas in the soft palette, you get 3. My eye's really drawn to the yellow column because I love these almost mustardy type shades. I love them. So I want to see what they translate like onto my eye. I'm going to start with Y1 and a Refer 14, and I'm going to apply to my crease. Love this shade. I love it. It's got a almost goldenness to it. It's not too yellow. I'm going to use the same brush and go into Y3 in the same column, bottom row, and I'm going to start deepening this outer corner, not getting much. I'm changing brushes. Clean Refer 01. Oh yeah, well there you go. There you go. That is working so much better. I can actually see the shade coming through. Oh, I love the undertone of this column. I really just want to see if we just stick to the columns, right? How she suggests you can. You don't have to. You're not limited to that, of course. I just want to see if I didn't want to think one day and I just grab one column, the one that my eye goes toward, what we would get. And so far, I love. Got my pinky into the second row in the Y column. And just going to apply this on the lid. And these all work so beautifully together. And so this isn't like I said, these aren't out of the world shimmers, but they're just enough. And if I build this up, I'm getting a really nice shine on my lid. I think that looks really, really good. I love this whole thing going on over here. Gonna grab a little pencil brush, 23 clean, in Y3 again, and just get that on the lower lash line, just for a little definition. Bring it up just a little bit. And I think I want to go into N3, same brush, just roll it in there a little bit to add a little bit of liner. Tapping off because I really don't want any fallout. Just bring this up out just a little bit and define that lash line. Okay, so that's working well as a little bit of a liner. I'm not taking it all the way, just kind of halfway, just adding a little depth in the outer part of my eye. Okay, I'm really happy with the way this looks. Just sticking with the column made it a lot easier instead of bouncing around. But like I said, it doesn't mean you have to stay within the columns. It's just really, really easy. It's all laid out for you, which is great. I'm going to add the same mascara to this eye and I will be right back. Should we now get into some comparisons? Let's. Before I get into bigger palettes, I do want to bring this Eyesculpt palette, this mini from Natasha Denona that I love so very much. You have everything really that you need in here. This is what springboarded these two palettes. So if you have this and all you need it for is to get your crease in, or you just like an all matte look that's very, very neutral, and you have your black in here for liner, you're all set. You're all set. No, there are no metallics in here, but the metallics in these two bigger Midi Plus palettes, they're nice, but I'm sure you have singles or other metallics that you like from other palettes that you can incorporate. So it depends what you want. This, if this is all you would be looking for in palettes like this, then you're good with this one. If you want to venture out for different options, different undertones, depending on the day, how you're feeling, then palettes like this would be better suited for you. But I love this one. All right, up on top, we have the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette, and this is the Dramatic palette underneath. Yes, do you have some overlap? I can definitely see that, but what you're missing from the warm is this deeper part of this palette. So if you were to only want to stick to this side of the palette and you already have the I Need a Warm, probably not something that you really, really need. Same idea with the I Need a Nude palette up top versus the soft Midi Plus palette underneath it. Again, you could probably achieve the same look if you stayed on the lighter side of the Midi Plus palette, except you're missing those sparkly, metallic-y shades. You really don't get the same depth with the I Need a Nude palette as you do with the soft Midi Plus palette. All right, next up is the Biba palette on top. Very, very similar to the Dramatic palette. If you have the Biba, you could probably get away with getting pretty much the same looks. And the only problem is I'm not sure you can get the Biba palette any longer. And also the formulas have been updated. However, if you have the Biba and you love your Biba, I think you're good. Let's take a look at the Mario Master Mattes. This is the original one, the warmer leaning one. A lot of these shades you will find below. However, they're not the same formula. I love my Mario palette. The formula is a little bit drier and you gotta build it, which I don't necessarily mind. So we have a very big difference in formula, but I did think that showing the shades side by side would be helpful. And we also have the Mario Master Mattes, the neutrals, and this one I've put against the soft palette. Not as much of overlap with this one, I would say. More so with the original Master Mattes and the Dramatic, but always good to see a comparison. In terms of comparing with other Natasha palettes, like there's the golden one and the retro, but they didn't have much overlap in any way, so I won't show those to you. I showed you the ones that if you already have them, have the most similarities to these new Midi Plus palettes. So I do think these are beautiful palettes. You do have everything you need in here. I am not a fan of how delicate these pans are. You have to handle these with care. I wouldn't take these on a trip, if you know what I'm saying. But I do love that you have a range from lighter to darker, the columns all laid out by undertone, and I love the concept of it. I think it's really, really great. The formula, very beautiful. That silky matte is so smooth. Very, very easy to work with. I do think that the Dramatic palette is much more suited to my skin tone. And the soft palette, although very, very beautiful, I'll probably need to lean towards the third row and stay on the darker end of things. So I don't know how useful that will be for me personally, but if you have a much lighter skin tone and you like lighter, rosier tones like that, then that would be better suited for you. Although that's not to say that the Dramatic palette wouldn't work for you either, because there is a nice mix of lighter shades in there as well. So if these palettes fit into your makeup routine and it's something that you think you would get a lot of use out of, then definitely go for it, because formula-wise, they're wonderful. And like I said, you have everything laid out for you. If you don't want to think about it, just stick to a column and you're good. So if you don't think this would add to your collection in any way, then obviously it's not something for you. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there who are looking for something like this, something that they can keep on their desk and have it be their go-to for a base or a variety in undertones, depending on the kind of look that you're going for. Am I happy to have them in my collection? Definitely I am, and I will continue to play around with them and update you in a makeup roundup unless I come up with some really, really cool way to show you a bunch of different combinations. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. For me, I do prefer the dramatic side versus the soft side. I don't know. What do you guys think? Please let me know if you think these would fit into your makeup collection. I always love hearing from you, and I will definitely meet you in the comments. And that is it. That is all for this video. I really hope you found it helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye.